That's the oh.
Got milk? Just do it. Be all you can be. Obey your thirst. Good. Have you heard any of these? Most Americans have, and those who haven't probably have never read a newspaper or listened to the radio. They probably don't have a television. As a matter of fact, those that haven't heard these ads probably still live in their house and have never come out. I'm here to let you know if you get those catchy jingles stuck in your head, you're not the only one. In fact, that is exactly what the advertising agencies are paid to do. Get it stuck in your head. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, there are several techniques, and I use that term lightly, that the advertisers employ in their ads to have that effect on us. And I am here to show you. As Americans, we are bombarded with advertisements similar to the ones I introduced you to daily. In fact, dare I say, whether we are conscious of it or not, advertising rules our lives. From what milk we choose to buy at the grocery store, to where we go to eat pizza, to where we live. I'll give you an overview of the way advertisers trick us into buying products. There's one extreme and there's another extreme. The in-your-face, repetitive nature of the ads to the subtle way products are strategically placed during movies and television shows. And don't fret, by the time I'm finished with you, you'll know what to look for and when to look for it. First, we'll discuss the most extreme form of advertising. The business journal Phoenix website said the average American consumer is exposed to 600 advertising messages a day in one form or another. I don't know about you, but I think that's quite a bit. And this was brought to my attention when I left my house for the gym, turned on my car, turned on the radio, and I heard an ad. But it was annoying, so I turned the channel because, let's be honest here, who listens to those anyways? So, as I'm looking up from changing the radio station, I look up and there's a billboard, and it has the same ad, the same company. But, I shrug my shoulders because, let's be honest here, who actually pays attention to those ads? I get to the gym, I start running, and me being me, I have a TV in front of me, and what comes on? You guessed it. Same ad, same company, same song. So, I diverted my attention to the soap opera next to it because, let's be honest here, who listens to those ads, watches those ads, or pays attention to those ads anyways? Now here's the thing that really gets me. I get home, I'm washing tomatoes for my meal, and I find myself craving a double cheeseburger and singing ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. Yep, I've been subjected to repetitive advertising. But this isn't a mere coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, this is a common technique used by advertising agencies, and it even has a name, as I said earlier, repetitive advertising, although I like to refer to it as brainwashing. Now, according to BusinessKnowledgeSource.com, a consumer needs to see an ad 7 times before a message even begins to sink in. Talk about lucky number 7, for the advertising companies at least. This is where the bulk of advertising is concentrated, throwing it in your face all the time so it sticks in your head. I'm going to give you a quick example of this from Trizzle, an online business site, so you might understand. Put it a little simpler. Say that you were given 2 tickets to 2 different shows, and you're trying to host a client meeting, and one of them is Kathy Griffin, and one of them is my boy George over here, George Clooney. And you have to choose. Which one will your client like? Which one will you like? And most Americans would choose George Clooney because George Clooney has been thrown in our faces since his start on ER, repetitively. Whereas Kathy Griffin is on the D list. Most of you probably haven't even heard of her. So, by nature, we choose George. Now, this is where the theory comes in. This is where the advertising agencies, they got this in their head. Here it is. Familiarity breeds liking, and that ultimately breeds buying. Same concept, different examples. Now, on to my personal favorite, product placement, the subtler of the two, and the opposite of repetitive, advertising. Have you ever watched a movie and noticed several everyday items sprawled throughout a scene? A Mac laptop there, a Volkswagen Bug there. This, ladies and gentlemen, is product placement. It started in The African Queen, the movie, when Gordon's Gin paid millions of dollars to have Katharine Hepburn's character toss their Gordon's Gin overboard in the movie, thus resulting in more sales. And ever since then, companies have been doing it. Now that I've kind of pointed it out to you, do any specific product placements come to mind? Most people might think of the popular movie E.T. and the Reese's Pieces. Now, after Reese's Pieces paid to have their candy in E.T., according to Time Magazine Online, sales rose 65% a mere month after E.T. was released. It's a lot. But they're not the only ones who get something out of product placement. The movies and television companies get a major compensation, and those everyday items or weave throughout the movies give the scene a reality factor. The story the writers, directors, and actors are devoting their time to is much more credible with real items, like a Coke can, rather than an aluminum can that simply says soda. I know what you were thinking. How have I gone my entire life without noticing this? Well, it's quite simple, and I've been saying it since the beginning of this speech. It's subtle. However, I guarantee you tonight that when you're watching your favorite primetime television show or that movie that just came out at Blockbuster, you're going to notice it. It's not going to be as subtle anymore. Also, take note of the way the actors strategically, hold their cans of soda so Coke faces the camera, or when a payphone is being used, how they strategically place the camera on the ad. Simply put, product placement, although not as extreme as repetitive advertising, is still advertising, and it's obviously quite effective. So by now, I hope that I have gotten the gist of advertising, which according to Stephen Butler Leacock in Crown's book of political quotations may be described as the science of arresting the human intelligence long before money could get to it. Maybe you can learn to ignore said ads and not buy their products. If you can do that, I applaud you. However, don't try to avoid them, because that's an impossible feat. And as Ron Burgundy in Anchorman said, they come at you like a spider monkey. Thank you.